And welcome to the Tacoma Dome, located in the City of Destiny, also known as Tacoma, Washington. This is Mike Brown, ready to bring you play-by-play action of the 1A semifinal matchup between the Montesano Bulldogs and the Mount Baker Mountaineers. Glad to have you on board for our broadcast, brought to you by the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires here on the WIAA network. Mike Brown here alongside my color commentator, Jordan Johnson, who joins me now. Jordan, now we all know that Montesano's been here before, very experienced team, and they're matched up against a team in Mount Baker that's never gotten to not only to the Tacoma Dome, but to the semifinal round of the state playoffs. So it could be an interesting matchup of teams that have much different experiences as far as the postseason goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Two teams, two different traditions. Both teams here looking to get this big win. Montesano overcame a Kings team that's very well known, a lot of high-profile athletes last week, 17-14, so that says a lot about what they've done. A couple early losses early in the season, come back 10-2, traditionally a very, very tough team. And Mount Baker, like we talked about earlier, that team that hasn't been here before and is, pumped and poised, got a good crowd here and looking to get this win.
Mount Baker has never been to the semifinal round of the state playoffs. They've never played at the Tacoma Dome, so a brand new experience for the Mountaineers, who come in with an overall record of 10-1. As for Montesano, as Jordan was saying, they do have two losses, but they're 10-2 overall. Started the season 1-2, but one of those losses was to the team that they lost in the semifinal round last year, right here at the Tacoma Dome in triple overtime, and that was Cascade Christian, one of the best games of the postseason last year. And I wouldn't expect I wouldn't be surprised to see a repeat of something like that, the way these kids come out and play.
Yeah, absolutely. 28-25 loss to Cascade Christian in the second game of the season. So once again, a lot of things happened from that point. We got a couple months ahead now, and I think they've improved a lot. Once again, Montesano is one of those teams that's just, they're good. Year in and year out, they make adjustments, they do what they need to do. So I think tradition-wise, they're going to be a team that isn't going to make as many mistakes, and they're going to be a team to beat.
Montesano, a grade 7 through 12 school, as you'll often see with the smaller schools around the state. We're going to be doing a B8 game, or I should say a 1B game later on today. And Lummi, that school, is a K through 12 school. So with the smaller the schools get, the more grades you tend to have at the high school level. Montesano, coached by Terry Jensen, now in his 11th season. Jensen, a former center and nose guard, did not play college ball and played his high school ball at Aberdeen, not all that far from where Montesano is. As for the Mountaineers, their head coach, Ron Leopard, now in his 17th season coaching the Mountaineers. He's a former offensive and defensive lineman who played college ball at Simon Fraser up near Vancouver, BC. So both guys familiar with this game, as you would expect, and they've both been with their respective schools for a long time as well. And that's a pretty important thing to keep a coach around for a long time, isn't it, Jordan?
Absolutely. I mean, you instill tradition. It starts with the youth kids and, however that community works. But once again, if that head coach is able to instill that program with the younger kids, I mean, it's going to be something where everybody adapts, has the same ideas, same thing. So you'll see programs traditionally with coaches that have been there a while be better.
Montesano won the coin toss and deferred to the second half. So Mount Baker will have the ball to begin the game. Although, in the game we saw last night, LeConnor had the opening kickoff and muffed it. Ended up giving up the ball to Morton Whitepass. They did not score on that opening drive, but nonetheless, you never know what's going to happen once they kick that ball off. Kicking off, doing the honors for the Bulldogs, will be Anthony Luton. He will put the ball in play, and we will get underway here at the Tacoma Dome, the first of 4 games on the schedule here today. Got one at the 1B level as well as a couple of 4A games, and we are underway as the ball is going to be gathered in over on the far right side by Liam Short. He'll bring it up midfield and get tackled just beyond the 35-yard line, so a pretty good return for Liam Short to get things started and put his offense in decent field position. The Mountaineers, led by quarterback Andrew Zender. The Zender family, very, very popular. At least they've populated the Deming area, let's put it that way, which is where Mount Baker is located up near the mountain itself. They'll get underway at the 35-yard 1st and 10. Zender, with 3 running backs, will hand off to the first man through. and busting over the right side for a short gain. Now let's see if we can get the number. That appears to be Jake Schleimer. So it'll be 2nd and 8 from the 37. Mount Baker wearing the white top uniforms as the visiting team. They have the black and red, the red letters and the black trim along with the red helmets and the black pants. Montesano, the home team, with the maroon tops and the silver numbers, white numbers with the silver trim, silver helmets and pants. Here comes the handoff again, this time to Jake Schleimer. He'll work it on the left side and pick up a couple. That'll bring up a 3rd and 5.
Both of these schools seem to travel pretty well. Looking at the crowds out here today, it looks like Mount Baker brought most of their community with them. So obviously Montesano does much of the same. So it's obviously very good for both teams.
Mount Baker, a team that tends to run the ball more than throw it. That's why they have 3 starting running backs, but may be forced into a passing situation right here. 3rd and 5, they have a wide receiver to either side. 2 men in the backfield. They will still hand it off. Going for the run and getting tripped up easily is Isaiah Schwinden. And a good tackle out there by Montesano to stop him for essentially no gain. And the Mountaineers are probably going to have to punt it away.
Schwinden's one of those top backs, only a junior. They were talking about him earlier, and one of those kids we're going to see all night long. Good hit there by Elliot Mendenhall.
So Mendenhall, an all-league player, coming through with the big stop. Brings up a 4th and 4. And the Mountaineers will send Edgar Zavala back to punt. Down deep for the Bulldogs, Ben Ohashi. Looks like he's going to get a chance to return this one here. Makes the catch at the 23. He's going to move to his left. Gets around the corner and now going to be dragged over to the sideline and out of bounds. I'll mark him out at the 34. A decent return right there by Ohashi, and sets up his offense in decent field position. And now the Bulldogs will go to work for the first time on offense. Montesano, no stranger to the playoffs at the 1A level. They've won 2 state titles, and they've been to the Tacoma Dome quite a few times since the semifinals and finals moved here. And they will go to work under the direction of quarterback Matthew Jensen, and he is the son of head coach Terry Jensen, again in his 11th season. Out of the shotgun is where Jensen will work. One back in the backfield with him, fakes the handoff, throws right side. This one's going to be completed over to number 25, Richard Smith, and he'll pick up about 5 yards to get things started.
Matthew Jensen's one of those kids, offensive MVP of the conference, one of those guys we see a lot at camp. Very talented kid, coach's son. So once again, another Montesano superstar.
They got one wide receiver split wide to either side. Handoff, no, they fake it, throw it over the middle, and going to be complete. And complete for a first down and into Mount Baker territory as Jensen hooks up with his receiver there, Elliot Mendenhall. And we've already mentioned his name. Pick up at 21 yards. That was actually Shad Rogers who made the reception. And a first down at the 40-yard line of Mount Baker. Montesano on the move here on their first possession of the ball game. Clock running with 9:19 to go first quarter. There's a throw to the left side and another completion. As gathering in is Ben Ohashi. And Jensen looks sharp to start this game.
Jensen's got a lot of confidence. He comes out here throwing the ball, doing what he needs to do. Like I said, he's a football guy. He's got a coach for a father, and he just knows the game. So once again, we're going to see a lot of Matt Jensen.
9 minutes to go.
Working out of the no huddle. Keeping the Mountaineers on their toes. Here comes the snap out of the shotgun. They're going to hand it off this time. And running it from left to right is Tucker Ibabo. And he's going to be close to the first down. Let's see where they mark it. He's going to be about a yard short. Need to get to the 30. He got to the 31 of Mount Baker. Clock running, 8:34 to go. First quarter, no score. But Montesano on the move on their first possession of the ball game. Jensen will take the snap, hand it off, first man through, and he's got a hole on the right side. Mendenhall busted through off right tackle and picked up a good 5 yards.
First team all-league running back, also goes both ways. Elliott's one of those kids we'll see a lot of tonight. You mentioned Montesano and their postseason experience, 28-21 overall in the postseason.
Now we got some movement on the left side. I think this penalty is going to go against the Bulldogs. Looked like Drew Helms, the left tackle, moved. And it is going to be a false start against Montesano. That's the first time they've gone backwards on this drive. Every play's gotten positive yardage, and most of them over 5 yards. So they'll back them up to the 30-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 15 for Montesano. The Bulldogs reaching the semifinal round again this year. Lost a nail-biter in a very exciting game last year in triple overtime to Cascade Christian. And those two teams met up early in the regular season with the Cougars beating the Bulldogs again.
Was here for that Cascade Christian game. That was a thriller.
I called it on another internet network.
Yes.
That was a great game. Here goes the snap from center. And pitch it to the man moving inside, Shad Rogers, and he's going to get a few yards. Good defense there by Mount Baker to keep him to just a few-yard gain. Some good misdirection there on the offense of the Bulldogs.
Shad's a second-team All-League wide receiver, a kid that can run the ball as well, as we just saw.
One man in the backfield here. As it appears they're going to run it again, and they do hand it off. And that's Tucker Babel. It's going to move it up a couple more yards. They're going to be well short of the first down. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 10. And the hurry-up offense right now for the Bulldogs. You see the ball boys hustling off the field right here as Jensen's ready to go back to work out of the shotgun. Here comes the snap. Going to roll to his left. Looking downfield, flips it. He's got a man open. That's Mendenhall. He avoids one tackler, gets past the 20, now to the 15, and down to the 13, and that's enough for the first down. Talk about second effort and yards after contact. You saw it right there from Mendenhall.
Yeah, made a good catch, caught the dump pass, made a couple good moves, and inside the red zone.
And a first down. That's the biggest thing for the Bulldogs right there, continuing in the no huddle and hurry up offense here. One back in the backfield, that's a Bobo. Here comes the snap from center. It's kind of high, but we have a whistle and a stoppage of play. Looks like a timeout being called by Mount Baker, and I think I know why, Jordan. They're kind of trying to catch their breath and say, whoa, 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 whoa. They got to get a handle on things.
Yeah, I think Montesano's experience and just overall team chemistry, they know what they need to do right now to start this game, and we're seeing it right away.
Our webcast today being brought to you by the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires, sponsoring the semifinal action this whole weekend here at the Tacoma Dome. There were 3 games yesterday. The first was a 2A matchup between Linden and Capital, and Linden easily beat the Cougars 48-21. In fact, it wasn't even really that close. Capital scored a couple of late touchdowns. Then the 2B game saw a defensive struggle. Morton White Pass beat LeConner 12-zip. And they're going to move on. And then at the 3A level, had a pretty good crowd for that one, as you'd expect. Bellevue, one of the top teams in the nation, beat Mount Si handily 37-7, although it was Mount Si that scored first in that game to make it interesting early on. Here things are interesting for the Bulldogs of Montesano. They're on the move with 7 minutes to go in the first quarter of play. They've got a 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line. They're going to run it left side and plow forward for a few yards. And Bobo picked up about 3 for Montesano. Got the ball just inside the 10-yard line. Bulldogs looking to draw first blood here in this game. A 1A semifinal matchup. Winner gets to come back to the Tacoma Dome next week. Here's a pitch right side. Bobo again trying to get around the edge. He's not going to get there, although he does trip over a would-be tackler and fall forward for maybe a yard or 2. So able to pick up some positive yardage on the play despite some pretty good defense by the Mountaineers.
Yeah, Bobo 5'8", 180, but looked like he's more like 220 right there, laying some hats. So good-looking running back.
3rd and 6 for the Bulldogs. Jensen back to pass, looks left, he'll throw, he's got a man open, and he'll make the catch as well and get tackled by a couple of defenders, but not before he gets down to the 3-yard line, and that's going to be pretty close to the first down marker. Maybe just a little bit short, a yard or less. And you know they're going to go for it on 4th.
Most definitely.
I mean, they could kick a field goal, but when you're down this far and you have a 4th and short, more than likely a team's going to go for it.
Yeah, to start the game, you want that confidence. So this is a perfect time to get that first down or touchdown.
And what kind of confidence would it bring to Mount Baker if they're able to stop them?
Yeah, that'd be huge.
So here we go, 4th and 1 from the 4-yard line. Jensen under center. He'll turn and hand off. This is a Bobo left side. He's going to waltz into the end zone untouched for the touchdown. So not only did they get the first down, they got the touchdown and take the early lead 6-0 over Mount Baker.
Ababo, the senior two-way all-league kid, one of those guys that we see get the ball quite often. And I think Montesano, once again, with that tradition and what they are able to bring to the table, getting this first score of the game is going to be big.
So the lineup for the extra point now. Bulldogs have Anthony Luthen out on the field. Ready to make it a 7-0 ball game. Luthen does both the place kicking and the punting for the Bulldogs. High snap from center, but he gets it up and through the uprights. It's good. It makes it 7-0 in favor of Montesano over Mount Baker. We'll take a break and be back with more after this on the WIAA Network.
The future of our state is very important to Washington dairy farmers.
And it starts with our youth. The dairy farmers of Washington have been partnering with the WIAA for years. Sports are very important in building good work ethic.
They help students by teaching them discipline, teamwork, dedication, and preparing them for the challenges that they're going to have later in life.
The dairy farmers of Washington encourage you to support local youth by attending WIAA championship events.
Welcome back. The Tacoma Dome, the place where Montesano scores first and has a 7-0 lead over Mount Baker in this 1A semifinal matchup. I'm Mike Brown along with Jordan Johnson. Glad you could join us for our webcast here on the WIAA Network. So far so good for Montesano. They hold on defense to start the game, and then on their first possession, they put together a lengthy drive of about 70 yards and score to make it 7-0. What does Mount Baker got to do now here, Jordan, to make sure they don't let this game get away from them?
You know, I think Montesano coming 9 straight wins, that win over Kings last week, they have a lot of confidence. So I think whatever they do, they need to put some points on the board right away.
A high bouncing ball on the kickoff. It wasn't exactly a squid kick, but the return by Isaiah Schwinden is going to be rather short, but still going to be down in a decent spot for the offense to get started right here. And, you know, you mentioned that win over Kings last week. That had to be a huge win.
You know, Billy Green, the quarterback, committed to BYU. Mason Friedline, the kid with multiple D1 offers that actually is going to go to Yale. They're just a very, very talented club over there. So to get that win is a big-time confidence boost for Montesano.
All right, Andrew Zender under center, ready to get things going offensively. He'll fake the handoff, roll to his left, throw, and incomplete. He was trying to connect with Dalton Munsell, but he fell to the ground as the ball was, I think, a little bit underthrown. So it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Mountaineers.
Both Mount Baker playoff wins have been close games, so they're no stranger to knowing, you know, what a close game's all about. So they're going to come in and they're going to battle, and they're definitely looking not to get blown out.
Well, they can start turning the trend a little bit here by picking up some first downs. Looking at a 2nd and 10, they'll hand it off straight up the middle. And a pretty decent run right there for Mount Baker as Jake Schleimer ran it right up the gut, picked up about 5 yards. Make that a 6-yard gain for Schleimer. And then I'll create a 3rd and 4 for the Mountaineers.
4 yards to go from the 32.
Pretty important down and distance situation right here for Mount Baker. They need to start converting some first downs. Here comes a handoff, but a flag right at the snap of the ball. Not sure what we're going to get here, but I think it's going to go against Mount Baker. Yeah, they're backing up. A false start going to be called against the offense. Bad timing for that right there. Turns a 3rd and 4 into a 3rd and 9.
Yeah, those are exactly what they don't need to have happening right now in their own territory. So once again, just getting that confidence and making things happen right now is very important for dictating the rest of the game.
It'll probably force Zender to go back to pass. He's thrown once on this possession so far, incomplete. Got a wide receiver, 2 split out to the left side. They're going to hand it straight up the middle, though, and going almost nowhere is Schleimer. Got maybe a couple of yards, and that's about it. So on 4th and about 6, the Mountaineers are going to have to punt. You're not going to go for it on 4th and 6 when you're this deep in your own territory, right?
Yeah, you got to be smart. You still got a lot of game ahead, and you got to play possession ball. So once again, unfortunate, but far from out of reach.
So It'll be Edgar Zavala back to kick it away. Ben Ohashi is deep for the Bulldogs. He got a pretty decent return last time. This time he calls for a fair catch, and he's going to get hit after making the catch, and that'll be a penalty on Mount Baker. And that's one of those mistakes that's kind of inexcusable, unless he just didn't see the fair catch signal.
Yeah, not quite sure what he was looking at, but once again, penalty's a penalty. Pretty blatant, but once again, I think penalties are going to kill him. Montesano's a team that will capitalize on mistakes and penalties like we just saw. So once again, I think if Mount Baker wants to win this game, they're going to have to cut out all of that.
Dylan Howard was the offending party on that last penalty, and the referee is going to sort it out as to where it happened and how much they mark off. We saw a couple of unusual situations last night in the 2B game. As far as penalties were concerned, there were 3 at one time on one team, and they marked off all 3 of them.
As we were talking about before the game with Mount Baker, they have never gotten this far, so it's a completely new, it's foreign, it's new territory. So with Montesano, it's one of those things where they can take advantage of that. And 4-9 all-time postseason for Mount Baker is a big difference from the 49 total postseason games that Montesano has played. Including
2 state titles, one in 1983, one in 1994, back when it was the King Bowl. Ready to go to work here. And they will start in Mount Baker territory at the 47. Fake a handoff right, and then Jensen is going to hang on to the ball and run it on the left side. Barely got a yard on that carry. Looked like maybe it was a broken play almost, or nobody was open.
Yeah, the good thing about Jensen being a senior leader, the conference MVP, is he's not going to typically make those mistakes that a lot of QBs would. So he's going to be that guy that's going to be able to help carry them through a big game like this.
2nd and 9 after a gain of just 1. Jensen fakes the handoff, now goes back to pass, throw right side, got a man open, but just barely overthrew him. He was wide open and just couldn't make the connection over there. Looked like Mendenhall was the intended receiver and got a hand on it, but that's as best he could do.
Yeah, Mendenhall, first-team all-league kid on both sides of the ball, running back and linebacker. So once again, he's a kid that's a focal point for Montesano.
3rd and 9. Jensen rolls right. He's going to get hit just as he releases the ball, connect with Mendenhall, but he's going to be dropped on the far sideline. And that's a big defensive play for Mount Baker, who needs to get the ball back. They'd like to make this a 3 and out, but I don't know. I think there's a good chance that Montesano will go for it here.
4-yard gain. 4th and 5.
Yeah, I think they're in their own territory. Was it the 42? So, yeah, right. I think Montesano feels pretty good about where they're at.
4th and 5. Mount Baker needs a stop. Here's a snap from center. Jensen rolls right, throws. He's got a man open. It's good for the first down. He breaks a tackle and heads down the far sideline and finally dropped at about the 8. Coming up with the ball that time. Looked like Shad Rogers again. And not only does he get a first down on 4th and 5, but picks up a ton of real estate afterward.
Been one of Jensen's primary go-to guys thus far. So Shad Rogers being that guy, good run after the catch.
And that's another dagger in the heart of the collective defensive players for Mount Baker. Handoff, left side, a Babo this time. He'll take it down to the 5, so pickup of about 2. Montesano leading it 7-0 over Mount Baker and knocking on the door once again. I'd like to get in the end zone. That'd be a nice lead for them, 14-zip in the first quarter. Still got 2:16 and the clock running here in the first as Jensen will turn and hand to Mendenhall. Dances around right side, and he's going to be dropped at about the 3-yard line. So they get a little bit closer on a gain of about 2.
I think that triple overtime thriller that we saw last year for those guys that are back does, provide a lot of confidence and experience for them coming into tonight. So once again, just another advantage for Montesano.
2 yards on the play.
Still working with the no-huddle offense. Jensen in the backfield with the Babo to his left, goes back to pass. He'll throw left side and lofts it into the end zone for a touchdown. That one caught by Ben Ohashi, and that'll make it a 13-0 ball game in favor of the Bulldogs, and they made it look kind of easy on that play right there.
Yeah, Ohashi once again, another one of their stars, first-team all-league kid. They're trying to put this away early, so Mount Baker's going to have to really do something here to counteract.
Coming on for the extra point attempt, Anthony Luthen. He was successful on his first one after they drew first blood on their previous possession. Now Luthen lined up, ready for the extra point attempt. The snap a little bit better than the first one, and he guns it on through for the extra point. So that'll make it 14-0 in favor of the Bulldogs over Mount Baker. We'll be back with more action from the Tacoma Dome right after this on the WIAA network.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
We are back at the Tacoma Dome. Mike Brown along with Jordan Johnson. It's a 14-0 lead for Montesano as they've scored touchdowns on both of their possessions in the ball game so far. Meanwhile, Mount Baker really struggling on offense. I think they've been stopped on a 3-and-out on both possessions, so still looking for their first down, not to mention points, Jordan. So big challenge ahead of them already, down by 2 touchdowns early on.
Yeah, 7-play, 48-yard drive, went forward on 4th down, got a first and then some, and then got their second score. So once again, Montesano looking good early.
Anthony Luthen puts his foot into the ball, hits a ground ball that's going to be gathered in on the left side. That is Joey Walton's going to return it. Breaks a couple of tackles, gets up past the 40, and now down at about the 43-yard line. So Mount Baker cannot complain about the field position they've had to start their possessions. They just haven't been able to do much with the ball from scrimmage, and a lot of that has to do with the Bulldog defense.
Yeah, I think they just need to make some adjustments, and Andrew Zender is going to be the guy that leads them, and that junior quarterback. So keep an eye on Zender and a few of the other guys that got running around up there.
Mount Baker is hoping to get their running game untracked here as they have 2 men in the backfield. Zender will turn, hand to the second man. Going to try to get around the edge, and he's not going to get there. That was Andrews. Was that Zender that got dropped? No, I think that was actually Isaiah Schwinden. Wasn't able to get anywhere. Mendenhall with the tackle for the loss.
Mount Baker has these 3 running backs that they mix the ball up pretty well with. So Schwinden, the only junior, the other 2 are seniors, but Schwinden's that guy that once again we hear quite a bit about. 5'9", $155. We'll see a lot of him tonight.
2nd and 11 from the 41 of Mount Baker. The Mountaineers trying to get some positive yardage here. Zender goes back to pass, throws, and kind of under through the intended receiver. That was Caleb Brownfield. And Zender in the game is 0 for 2, and he hasn't thrown the ball exceptionally well.
Yeah, they're going to have to cut out penalties, drops, and all of that type of stuff if they're going to want to beat a team like Montesano. So once again, late first quarter, they need to make sure and get some points on the board.
44 seconds to go, first quarter. Montesano leading Mount Baker 14-0. And the Mountaineers now staring at an unattractive down and distance situation of 3rd and 11. Back to pass Zender. No, he's going to hand it off straight up the middle, and there's some running room for the running back on the 39, Jake Schleimer, but he's not going to be able to get enough for the first down. Picked up about 5, maybe 6. That's going to bring up a 4th and long.
Elliot Mendenhall showing why he's an all-league kid, coming up making a very nice tackle right there, great form tackle. So once again, those little things make a big difference when you can take a guy down midfield on a run like that.
So the Mountaineers forced to punt as Edgar Zavala goes back. Let's see if they kick it before the clock runs out. They could let the clock run out here in the first quarter. Now they're going to get the snap off. There's the kick, and it's a pretty good one too. Back deep and calling for the fair catch is Ben Ohashi, and he will do so right at the 21-yard line, and that'll do it for the first quarter of play. Montesano has taken control here early on, and they lead Mount Baker by the score of 14-0. We'll be back with second quarter action right after this. Timeout on the WIAA network.
The future of our state is very important to Washington dairy farmers.
And it starts with our youth. The dairy farmers of Washington have been partnering with the WIAA for years. Sports are very important in building good work ethic.
They help students by teaching them discipline, teamwork, dedication, and preparing them for the challenges that they're going to have later in life.
The Dairy Farmers of Washington encourage you to support local youth by attending WIAA championship events.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
Ready for second quarter action here at the Tacoma Dome. It's Mike Brown along with Jordan Johnson here on the WIAA network. Montesano will begin the second quarter with a brand new possession at their own 21. Jensen turning and handing off up the middle, and some pretty good yardage there for Mendenhall, who blasts forward for a gain of about 8 yards.
Mendenhall's been awesome so far. He's done it on both sides of the football. We just saw him on D last possession, and he's been a rock thus far.
An all-league player is Elliot Mendenhall, number 32. He'll be in the backfield behind Jensen and a Babo. Jensen under center, takes the snap, gives it to Mendenhall again, and he is squared up against a defensive lineman there for Mount Baker. That was Dalton Munsell in a pretty good collision right there. Kept Mendenhall from getting the first down.
Kid I was looking at out of Mount Baker is actually a freshman, Hutton Napier. So take a look at him actually starting tonight.
From the 30, a 3rd and 1 for the Bulldogs. They'll work it right side of Bobo, and I don't know if he got there. It is going to be very close as the Mountaineers starting to stiffen up a little bit on defense. Showing some good D on the short yardage situations.
I think they understand what's at stake here, so they're going to definitely be pulling out all the stops.
They're definitely short. It's going to be 4th and a half yard. And let's see if the Bulldogs go for it. They are in their own territory just beyond the 30. And it looks like they are going to go for it here on 4th and short. They have converted on 2 occasions on 4th down. Nope, they're going to go back and punt. So back to punt, Anthony Luthen. And he'll just barely get it off. A high kick. It's going to take a bounce in favor of Montesano all the way down inside the 25, now down to about the 22. So things just continue to go right for the Bulldogs early on in this game. Even though they didn't score right there, the punt really changes the field position situation.
Probably the smart thing to do, kick the ball. But once again, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't go for it with such short yardage there. But I think Montesano, feeling as good as they are with their D right now, just figures, kick the ball, let's play some defense, put them in, their own territory.
Playoffs so far for these two teams. Mount Baker started with a 21-14 win over Woodland. And then they knocked off La Center 24-9 to get to the semifinal round. Montesano beat Charles Wright Academy 31-21, and then the big win over Kings 17-7 last week. That was a huge win. Kings ranked number 1. Handoff left side, doesn't get too much for Schleimer rather. Maybe a yard or so, and that's about it on the first play on this possession for Mount Baker.
Mendenhall once again on the tackle. So far looking like the player of the game.
Mount Baker so far in the game only able to generate 19 yards before that play. 19 yards total offense in the first quarter. And no first downs. Center will turn and hand off. First man through. No, he's going to fake and throw to the right side and completes the pass to number 22, Caleb Brownfield. And he is close to the first down and maybe picked it up. That would be a nice lift for the Mountaineers if he got to the stick.
Number 20 for Montesano is Hutton Napier, that freshman coming off the end there. So interesting anytime you see a freshman, 6 foot, 205, starting on a good ball club, you really got to think highly of him.
That's a first down for the Mountaineers, their first of the ball game. So a good start for them here in the second quarter, trailing 14-0 to Montesano. Clock running down to about 9 minutes to go here in the second quarter of play. Mountaineers will hand it off, first man through. And I believe that was Schleimer. Yes, it was. Jake Schleimer, number 39, plowing forward for a few yards. So 3 yards in a cloud of dust for the most part here for Mount Baker, with the exception of that pass play that got him the first down.
Yeah, they're going to stick mostly to the ground, and I think, once again, I think we're starting to see the importance, stress the importance of what these possessions mean as the game progresses.
They'll split a man wide to either side, 2 runners or 2 backs in the backfield. Back to pass Zender. He's going to be in trouble. He's going to get sacked. Had not 1, not 2, but 3 different Bulldogs in there on the play, led by number 44, Tucker Ibaba, who's getting the job done offensively as well, and that drops him for the loss. And it looks like it backed him up a couple of yards. 3rd and 12 now.
Loss of 6 yards.
That win over Kings, you can just tell, you can just see the confidence in Montesano. You can't help but have that build after beating the number 1 team. So I think we'll be able to get a sense of that all night long.
There was actually a loss of 6 and brings up a 3rd and 12. The Mountaineers are 0 for 3 on 3rd down in the game so far. Here comes a handoff backfield, and they're going to pick up some pretty good yardage here on the right side, but a penalty flag is down. Carrying the football was Isaiah Schwinden. Looks like he picked up about 7-8 yards, but let's see who the flag's going to be against. I'm thinking it's going to be against Mount Baker.
Yeah, coming back.
Yep, they are backing up. Probably had a hold on that play as they ran the sweep to the right side.
Preliminary indication is holding.
Now Mount Baker, after they get a couple steps forward, take a big one back. That's going to be a 10-yard penalty for holding against the Mountaineers. Montesano leading it 14-0 here
Ball brought back 10 yards.
over Mount Baker. The Mountaineers with their first ever appearance in the semifinal round and at the Tacoma Dome. This is new territory for them.
3rd and 23.
Looking over at that Mount Baker crowd, though, you can tell that they're excited. I mean, it looks like they brought a lot of their community with them, so that's exciting.
Dylan Howard split far left for the Mountaineers, but before they run a play, they're going to call a timeout. And that'll be their second timeout that they've used here in the first half, so kind of using them up a little bit early. You know, interesting thing about this game is Montesano is here in the semifinals after their stadium burned down earlier this year, Jordan. You can't help but wonder what kind of an effect that might have on a team. I was talking to Terry Jensen earlier this week. He said it kind of brought the team together. They have a pretty close group of seniors to begin with, but they're even closer now. And I would understand why that team would rally around each other when something big like that happens.
Yeah, it's not something that happens every day, and obviously that's something where your blood, sweat, and tears, that's something you spend a lot of time on. I mean, they've grown up on places watching people that other players on that field. So that's something where you can rally and build. And once again, things like that, wins over number 1 teams, you're going to see that make a team come together.
It isn't official, but they are pretty sure it was an arson fire. And boy, I saw some pictures online of that. That was quite a blaze. And apparently the fire department did a heck of a job keeping it from catching on to the gym, which is like real close next door. So they could have lost their gym as well, but the fire department got the job done, and they're planning to rebuild at some point down the road. Right now, Mount Baker looking at a 3rd and 23. Zender fakes the handoff, runs left side. He's going to be tackled down around the 25-yard line, well short of the first down, and the Mountaineers will have to punt. Getting back to the stadium thing, apparently it happened after they played a couple of home games. They had to finish out their regular season home schedule at Aberdeen, but the seniors, for their final home game, really wanted to play on their home field, so they brought in portable stands and were able to take this. They combined homecoming and senior night on the same night.
Wow. Well, yeah, once again, small town communities, things like that really do bring people together. So I think we'll see that unfortunate incident be a helpful thing moving forward.
Zavala back to punt. Pretty good one, too, but a return here by the deep man, Ben Ohashi, a short one, as he gets tackled around the 33-yard line. 6:41 to go, second quarter. Montesano leading Mount Baker by the score of 14-0. Both touchdowns coming in the first quarter. Tucker Ibabo started it with a 4-yard touchdown run. Extra point by Anthony Luthen was good. That made it 7-0. And then Ben Ohashi, who just returned the punt there, gathered in a 3-yard TD pass from Matthew Jensen. That made it 14-zip in favor of the Bulldogs, who will be back on offense once again.
Mount Baker has come back in both of their playoff wins, so this is nothing new. But once again, this is Montesano. This is not their first two opponents.
So you can't count out Mount Baker, but Montesano is a tough customer, as Jensen will take the snap and carry it himself. Boy, he had that thing wrapped up pretty tight, didn't he? And picked up about 6 yards.
No need for any turnovers right now. They know they got the momentum on their side, and ball control is going to be very important.
Working with the no-huddle offense. Jensen lining up in the shotgun, maybe a pistol, almost in between there, I suppose. Sends a Bobo in motion. They'll fake the handoff to him. Now going to be under pressure, throws downfield, and still completes it to Ohashi. He'll hit the ground at about the 35-yard line, and that'll be a gain of about 7, make that 23 yards for Ben Ohashi.
Yeah, Jensen got smacked right there by Joey Walton coming off the end. So that right there kind of shows his senior leadership, his composure, and what he brings to the table.
Another first down for Montesano as the clock starts winding. 6 minutes to go here, second quarter. Bulldogs well in control as Jensen under center this time will pitch it right side. This is Mendenhall. Make that a Bobo trying to get around the corner. Can't do it and get shoved out of bounds. We got a flag.
Probably be a face mask on a Bobo. Got the face mask of Montesano 89. So
that's not good. Saw a face mask last night. It's going to go against Mount Baker.
Wow.
Boy, that's just a killer right there.
Yep.
I mean, here they're getting pushed around pretty good defensively, and now a face mask penalty. And that's not the 5 or 10 yard variety either. That's 15.
That's Dalton Munzel right there, the starting to DN to tight end.
So the referees will mark it off. Reese Baker, the referee, making the indication, and only a 5 yard penalty. I guess it wasn't too severe. So the ball will be placed at the 33 yard line. Handoff, no, it's a fake, and Jensen will keep it and move forward. He drags a couple of tacklers down to about the 29.
Third score right here could be a dagger, so I think Montesano's definitely going to take their time, make sure they do what they need to do to get this ball in the end zone.
Yeah, they could work the clock pretty good. It's running right now with 5:22 to go in the second quarter. Work the clock, not leave much time if they do score for Mount Baker. Full house backfield as Jensen will turn. Fake the handoff, throw left side, throwing deep. He's got Ohashi wide open, and he can't quite hang on. Went right through his hands as the ball appeared to be on the money, and Ohashi, if you can see his expression down there, his body language, he's probably thinking, I should have had that one.
Yeah, kind of a tough catch over the shoulder, but once again, that's something I wish he could have back.
That is a good point to make. That is a tough catch to make like that. But you always figure you should have had it.
Yeah.
3rd and 4. Snap from center and a fake throw and a handoff to a Bobo. He'll plow up the middle. He's going to come up a little short of the first down, I believe. It's going to be close. They're going to go for it on 4th, I'm sure, if they are short, and indeed they are. They need about a yard or so. And now an official timeout right here.
This would
4th and 1.
A good way for Mountain Baker to get the momentum on their side. A big stop right here, and necessary stop, by the way. So this would be huge. This is a huge 4th down for Mount Baker.
Yeah, because if they do stop them, the offense would take over, which is good, but they also have a long way to go, and with only one timeout, they're going to need all 4+ minutes. But first, the defense has to stop Montesano on 4th and 1. Here's Jensen keeping the ball around left tackle, and he's going to fall forward, and I think he's going to have enough. Yes, he will. He'll convert. I think it's the 3rd time in this game that Montesano has converted on 4th down. Not only do they keep the ball, but the clock keeps running, and they get closer to the end zone.
Yeah, that tradition, that game experience, always helps.
Jensen, the pass, left side, out in the flat. He's got a man over there. Complete to Ohashi, who's going to be pushed back and dropped at about the 27, but his forward progress will be closer to the 22. They're going to set it down at the 21-yard line as Jake Schleimer came up with the tackle.
Ohashi, 5'7", $145, first-team All-League kid, one of their top players, doing a good job.
Here's Mendenhall off the left side now. He'll push it past the 20. Picked up about 3 on that play right there, and Montesano just methodically working the clock and moving the ball forward. We're down to 3:44 to go, second quarter.
3 yards to go for the 18.
Montesano leading it 14-0. Out of the shotgun, handoff, a bobble straight up the middle. He's going to break a couple of tackles and finally ridden down inside the 5-yard line. Boy, he just blasted through the hole on the left side right there, and not only picked up a first down, but he has the Bulldogs inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, big run right there. Big kid doing what they need to do. Right now, like I said, Mount Baker really needs to stop. If they put it to get down 21-0, it's going to be very, very tough moving forward.
First and goal from the 3. Here's the snap from under center. Ababo gets it again, and now Jensen's going to keep it, run right side. Boy, they run that fake really well.
They do.
And he's going to be just a little bit short of the goal line.
Jensen keeping the football.
He's going to be down to inside the 1.
Second and goal from the 1.
So second and goal for the Bulldogs. Still working with the no-huddle offense, and I think that has affected Mount Baker defensively. Under center, Jensen, he's going to keep it, try to move it left side, and he's not going to get in. Going to be stopped right at the 1-yard line for no gain.
Jensen keeps the
I was watching that Jets-New England game on Thanksgiving night. Here's Tom Brady running the ball in at the goal line when they're up by about 30 points. I'm thinking, what are they doing?
Well, Matt Jensen's a kid we saw at our camps and combines over the offseason, and we really like him. Not a big kid, 5'10", $180, but very, very talented, very smart.
Jensen will turn, hand off to Ababa, who will leap into the air and crash down just beyond the goal line in the end zone. And another 6 points for the Bulldogs, who have definitely owned this first half over Mount Baker, now leading at 20-0. Ababa scored his second touchdown of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, maybe one of the top players on this Bulldog squad, first team All-League running back, honorable mention All-League linebacker, two-way stud.
On for the extra point, Anthony Luthen. He's been successful on his first 2. Let's see what happens here after they score their 3rd touchdown. And we got some movement on the line and a flag.
penalty flags on both sides.
Not sure who's going to be whistled for this one. It's just an extra point, so probably not going to make a big difference either way.
13 plays, 66-yard drive, so another very time-consuming, very methodical march downfield for Montesano, and once again just doing a number.
Penalty against the Bulldogs. It'll back them up 5 yards. So this will resemble more of a field goal than an extra point. As Luthen will kick it from the 15-yard line. Here's the snap from center. Kick is on the way, and it is good. So make it 21-0 in favor of the Bulldogs over Mount Baker here at the Tacoma Dome. We'll take a break and be back with more after this on the WIAA Network.
The future of our state is very important to Washington dairy farmers.
And it starts with our youth. The dairy farmers of Washington have been partnering with the WIAA for years. Sports are very important in building good work ethic.
They help students by teaching them discipline, teamwork, dedication, and preparing them for the challenges that they're going to have later in life.
The dairy farmers of Washington encourage you to support local youth by attending WIAA championship events.
Welcome back. The Tacoma Dome is the place, and it's Mike Brown along with Jordan Johnson bringing you the action here in this semifinal matchup at the 1A level. Montesano dominating here in the first half as they lead Mount Baker by the score of 21-0. 2:21 to go in this first half, and I don't think there could be anything better for the Mountaineers at this point, Jordan, than to put together a two-minute drill and get downfield and get some points.
Yeah, they're going to need to figure something out because 21-0 against Montesano is a really tough thing to come back from. But once again, this is what you're this is why you're here. You got here because you're a good football team, and this is where they need to show it.
Luthen will kick it off. It's another ground ball straight up the middle. Going to be fielded by an up man, and he'll return it to the 40-yard line. And again, Mount Baker will start with decent field position. That has not been a problem for them at all. It's just that they haven't been able to get first downs.
Yeah, Montesano's just gone on lockdown mode defensively, and I think that's the senior leadership and the tradition has been a factor.
So Mount Baker still trying to get the wheels on track here offensively as they come out onto the field under the direction of quarterback Andrew Zender. They split one man, make that two men far right. Two men in the backfield. And Zender will turn and throw to the right side, looking for a man. No, he can't find anybody. The coverage is so good, he has to run. He has some pretty good running ability as he makes contact, spins, and falls forward and picks up a first down. That was unlikely right there, but it certainly went the way of the Mountaineers.
Yeah, Zender showing off his overall athleticism, and he might have to do that a little more, just take off and get some yards when he can.
That's the kind of plays they need here in this, what would appear to be their final possession of the first half. Just under 2 minutes to go, and the Mountaineers down by a bunch, 21-0. Right at midfield now. Zender will turn, hand off, first man through, and he's got a lot of running room as Jake Schleimer blasts right straight up the middle, breaking tackles and falling forward for a pickup of 17 yards. Making 18 yards down to the 32.
This is exactly what they need right before half. They need to take some positive momentum into the locker room at halftime and whatever it is, field goals, a touchdown, get some points on the board.
Now the Mountaineers only have one timeout remaining here in the second half. So far they have not even come close to needing it as they've gotten double-digit yardage on both plays of this possession. Here's a handoff straight up the middle, and again, Schleimer carrying the ball but not getting nearly as many as the last play, but still positive yardage as he moves it forward for about 3 yards. That'll bring up a second down and 7. They're at the 29-yard line of Montesano, and this without question is their best possession of the ball game so far. Zender under center, he'll turn, hand off, Schleimer again left side, and he's going to pick up first down yardage and more as he crashes to the turf inside the 20-yard line. And all of a sudden, Mount Baker's woken up on offense.
Yeah, the crowd's in it. They're 50 seconds to go. They need a touchdown, but we talked about earlier they do have 7 field goals on the year.
Field goal probably wouldn't do them a whole lot right now, but there's a lot to play, and if they can get some touchdowns later, if they have to settle for a field goal, it could work out. Handoff right side, Schleimer again, breaking tackles. He's inside the 15-yard line. Down to 35 seconds, and Mount Baker's going to have to keep an eye on the clock as it's running. They do have one timeout left. They're just going to have to hurry things up a little bit. And I mean really hurry. We're down to 24 seconds. They split two men far left. Two men in the backfield. Zender will hand off. Schleimer again. He's inside the 10, now inside the 5, and down at the 2-yard line. The clock will stop as they move the chains, but then Mount Baker's going to have something up their sleeve ready to go or use that final timeout. They will indeed call timeout with 11 seconds to go here in the first half. And nice to see something finally happening for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, I mean, Mount Baker's a very good football team. If you look at their regular season, they blasted almost everybody they played. Like I said, the 2 playoff games were close. They had to come back and win, but they've put up a lot of points throughout the season.
And it isn't like Montesano's playing a prevent defense where you give up yardage but not a lot of yardage. I mean, these are mostly running plays that Mount Baker is running, and they're just chewing up yardage.
Yeah, it's no secret. I mean, they're going to run the ball and they're going to continue to grind. So, they're going to that's their game.
The ball is at the 2-yard line of Montesano, a first and goal for Mount Baker, who has just used their final timeout of the first half. 11 seconds to go. But Mount Baker trailing big 21-0, hoping to get a big chunk of that back before this second quarter runs out. And they have the opportunity right here, knocking on the door, first and goal at the 2. They've been running the ball almost with ease on this drive.
Any run is very dangerous right now. No timeouts.
They still need 2 more. Let's see what they do here. Back to pass Zender. He's going to throw left side. It's going to be intercepted in the end zone by Ben Ohashi. Oh, boy, that is just another dagger in the collective hearts of the Mountaineers, who were looking so good on offense, but I think the fact that they just had only 11 seconds to work with, they simply couldn't run the ball. They throw it, and it gets picked off.
You know, that's just one of those things. I mean, if there's one thing you didn't want to have happen, that's it right there. And Zender, the junior quarterback, doesn't necessarily have the experience as someone like Jensen from Montesano, so that's just one of those mistakes.
First turnover of the ball game, and it comes with 7 seconds left in the end zone, with Mount Baker threatening to score for the first time in the game. They were hoping to get those 7 points and take them into halftime, but it's not going to happen as Montesano will simply take a knee and run out the first half of play. Jensen drops the knee to the ground, and that'll do it for the first half of play, which has been dominated by the Bulldogs of Montesano. They lead it by the score of 21-0 here at the break. Who knows, maybe Mount Baker will make the right adjustments and come back strong in the second half. We're going to have to wait a little while to find out. But when they do, Jordan Johnson and I, Mike Brown, will be back with the play-by-play action from the Tacoma Dome when the second half gets underway in just a little bit. We're going to take a break right now here on the WIAA Network. We'll talk to you in just a little bit.
The future of our state is very important to Washington dairy farmers.
And it starts with our youth. The dairy farmers of Washington have been partnering with the WIAA for years. Sports are very important in building good work ethic.
They help students by teaching them discipline, teamwork, dedication, and preparing them for the challenges that they're going to have later in life.
The dairy farmers of Washington encourage you to support local youth by attending WIAA championship events.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
The future of our state is very important to Washington dairy farmers.
And it starts with our youth. The dairy farmers of Washington have been partnering with the WIAA for years. Sports are very important in building good work ethic.
They help students by teaching them discipline, teamwork, dedication, and preparing them for the challenges that they're going to have later in life.
The Dairy Farmers of Washington encourage you to support local youth by attending WIAA championship events.
Welcome back. We are at the Tacoma Dome getting ready for second half action between Montesano and Mount Baker, a semifinal matchup at the 1A level. I'm Mike Brown along with Jordan Johnson, and Montesano dominating the first half and leading by the score of 21-0. And not only did they get it done on offense, Jordan, but we saw their defense come through big right near the end of that first half.
Yeah, very end of the half. That interception is obviously going to be key. They got, 15 minutes to go dwell on that, and a lot of people, especially high school kids, have a tough time getting away from that. That's a very tough thing, especially in an emotional setting like this. So 21-0, Montesano's a very, very tough team, and Mount Baker is going to really have to come out firing on all cylinders to start.
I suppose if you're a Mountaineers fan, you got to think to yourself, okay, they had their best drive of the first half that ended with 7 seconds to go in the half with the interception in the end zone, but that was an outstanding drive that they put together. I guess if you combine that with certain adjustments that they hopefully have made at halftime, maybe things can turn out differently in the second half.
Yeah, you would assume that Coach Lepper probably went in there and probably focused more on the drive versus the ending of it because, staying positive is something they need. I mean, they're here, like we talked about, for a reason, and for them to think about, hey, we just drove 60, 65 yards in a couple minutes, that's something, that's some momentum right there that they can use.
Another thing to keep in mind is something you mentioned in the first half, and that is that Mount Baker has come from behind in both of their playoff victories up to this point. They came from behind to beat Woodland 21-14, and then gave an early lead to Le Center before coming back to win that game 24-9. So they got that in their back pocket too.
Yeah, nothing to lose. I mean, it's state semifinals. They've never been here before. They got an outstanding crowd here. So once again, I think they're going to be able to come out here, give it everything they got, and we'll see what they can do. Unfortunately
for the Mountaineers, they will be kicking off to begin the second half. I don't know, maybe they pull off an onside kick or something. You never know. There's a lot of time to go, but if Montesano does cleanly return the ball, they're going to have it to begin the second half of play, and they've been putting together some lengthy drives in this ball game.
Yeah, I think with the second half kickoff going to Montesano, they're going to really have to focus on stripping the ball or getting a turnover here.
We are underway here in the second half as Mendenhall will take it down at the 5-yard line, fakes a handoff on a reverse, comes up the far sideline, or near sideline rather, has a lot of green in front of him and gets all the way into Mount Baker territory on the return. And that is not what the Mountaineers needed to start this second half. Special teams letting them down here.
Set up a nice wall coming around there. They did that once last half as well. So I think good special teams execution as well.
We've only had one turnover in the ball game. That was the interception in the end zone to essentially end the first half of play. And that's the first major return of any type that we've seen in the ball game as well. Both situations favoring Montesano, who will have it 1st and 10 at their own 49-yard line. Inside handoff at Bobo, and he'll take the ball into Mount Baker territory. Initially, Mendenhall did not return it into Mountaineer territory. They backed it up to the 49, but now on the first play from scrimmage, they are back in Mount Baker field territory.
Mendenhall's kind of that do-it-all kid. He's returning kicks for him as well. First team all-league running back linebacker.
Matthew Jensen under center, check that out of the shotgun, takes the snap, throws left side. He's got Ohashi. He fakes one man, now fakes another. He's down to the 25, backs up, now comes back to the 25 and gets dropped at the 22-yard line. Boy, he had some moves, doesn't he?
Kind of a fun kid to watch. Ohashi goes in, goes out, bounces around. Tough kid to bring down. 5'7", $145. He's got some good moves.
Well, he eluded a number of tacklers. Ended up doing that thing where they go backwards, and if it's my team, I always go, don't do that, keep going forward. But he managed to get some yardage out of it, and the ball will be placed at the 23. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. eating up some big yardage quickly here in the second half, or begin the second half. Now a Bobo. Now it's got fake, and Jensen will keep the ball and move inside the 15-yard line. Boy, they run that fake well, don't they?
Yeah, they've got that down pat. You know, that's what they do from through the offseason and then all through the regular season. So they do it well.
Now, it's easy to fake me out, so I'm not saying it just because they're faking me out, but, I mean,
I feel you.
You see the defensive players go in the wrong direction sometimes as well. There's a handoff right side of Bobo, and he's going to push forward. He might have enough for the first down. Yes, he does. It was second and short. So they'll move the sticks once again, and a fresh set of downs for Montesano.
2-yard gain. First down.
Working out of that no-huddle offense. They'll have it first down at the 12-yard line of the Mountaineers. One man split wide to either side. Jensen back to pass, looks left, looking all the way for Ohashi, and overthrows him in the end zone. That'll bring up a 2nd and 10.
Once again, with Jensen making that throw, there was no way that ball was going to be picked. He was going to make sure that only one person was going to be able to catch that. So once again, that's kind of where that him being that senior leader, knowing that they're in their own territory comes into play.
Yeah, if the man's not open, there was pretty good coverage down there. You just throw it away.
Yep.
So 2nd and 10 from the 12. Jensen will hand off this time to Ibabo straight up the middle. And he'll hit the turf at about the 9-yard line. Pick up 3. Clock at 10 minutes and running here in the third quarter. Still a long way to go, but Montesano up 21-0 and threatening once again. Just inside the 10-yard line is where the ball is placed. Jensen out of the shotgun, go back to pass, looks left, looking for Ohashi, and almost intercepted as that ball was either underthrown or maybe Ohashi ran the wrong route. It was almost picked off by Dylan Howard.
Down in their own territory, I think Montesano feels the luxury of being up 21-0, so they're taking a few chances right now throwing the ball.
Stops the clock with 9:39, and the Bulldogs will send out the field goal unit now. Place kicker Anthony Luthen will do the honors. He's converted all 3 extra points so far. And now this is going to be a 27-yard attempt. There's the kick on the way, and this one is going to be no good. He missed it right. Just pushed it a little bit too much. That was a very makeable field goal, but Luthen not able to convert.
9:32 to go, third quarter.
It was actually a 22-yard attempt.
So this might be the worst field position that Mount Baker has had thus far in the game. So
at the 20.
At the 20, so we'll see what they do.
Yeah, every single time they've started a possession, it has not been bad. It hasn't necessarily been great, but it's never been inside the 20.
Yep.
And a couple times it was out near the 40-yard line. So let's see if the Mountaineers can carry it over from the end of the second quarter when they were moving the ball almost with ease. Here's a handoff on the first play, and this one's going to go to number 44, Isaiah Schwinden. He'll pick up a couple.
Yeah, this Montesano D has got their act together. Once again, the freshman, number 20, Hutton Napier, coming off that left end. Very impressive kid, only a freshman.
Jake Schleimer is really carving up the Montesano defense on their final possession of the first half. Let's see if they go to him here. It will be Schleimer, and he's going to be stonewalled right at the line of scrimmage. He didn't pick up anything on that play right there. As the Bulldog defense, as you were just describing, really stiffened up there.
Yeah, Mount Baker might have to go into the bag of tricks here, just to kind of get something going, because Montesano, once again, once they get the ball, they like to run clock and use a lot of time, so that'll make a difference. 3rd and 9 for the Mountaineers.
They've really struggled in this ball game, not with turnovers, but with just basic scrimmage plays on both sides of the ball. Here's a snap from center. Pitch left side. That's a fumble, and let's see who comes up with it. Looks like it might be Mount Baker got the ball back, but they're going to have to punt it away here with a 4th and long situation and almost a second turnover there.
Elliott Mendenhall once again getting in the backfield, laying some hat, kind of all over the place. We've seen him offensively, defensively, just always in the mix.
So it'll be Edgar Zavala back to kick it away. Ben Ohashi is deep for the Bulldogs. There's a punt. It's going to be end over end. It's going to take a bounce right into Ohashi's hands at the 39. He'll make contact with one man, turn, and then get dropped at the 40. So really didn't move the ball very far at all, maybe a yard, but still decent field position for the Bulldogs to take over on offense.
Yeah, this is Montesano's game to lose for sure. So I think we're going to see a pretty stout Montesano D right here, very confident, and Mount Baker's really going to have to do something.
The winner of this game will move on to the championship round and take on either Royal or Riverview. Those two teams are playing right now. They kicked off about 20 minutes ago, playing over in Kennewick. So Riverview or Royal will take on the winner of this game here, and that'll be 1 week from today, another 10 o'clock in the morning start. Jensen turns, hands off Mendenhall, got some open field on the right side, jumps over one defender and crashes to the ground out of bounds on the far sideline. I think he got a first down.
Mendenhall moving well once again.
Jordan, how much, if anything, do you know about Royal and Riverview? I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit. Those two teams meeting up in the other 1A semifinal.
I know enough that Todd Pickett's out there doing the game and that we can get consistent updates. Royal's the number 2 team in the state. We got that down pat. So once again, I mean, anybody that makes it this far is doing well, and definitely looking forward to seeing who they play.
Fake handoff to Mendenhall, and now a throw over into the flat left side. Reception is made by Shad Rogers, but I think he lost yardage on that play. I know Royal is very familiar with being deep into the postseason and the playoffs.
Yeah, very consistent. Yep.
Second and 10.
So 2nd and 10 from the 48 of Mount Baker. Montesano with the ball and a healthy lead of 21-0. Back to pass. Jensen throws out left flat. Got a man. Hands only catch being made by Rogers, and he's run out of bounds, but not before he picks up a first down. Nice touch right there on the throw and also on the catch by Rogers to pick up another first down and get deeper into Mount Baker territory.
Yeah, Rogers had a couple catches for 56 yards in the first quarter, and he's been the other go-to guy, especially receiving-wise tonight.
Got knocked out of bounds at the 32-yard line of the Mountaineers. Defense getting pushed around again, hoping to put a stop here to something. Here's a run right up the middle. And that's going to pick up some decent yardage. I think that might be another first down for the Bulldogs. And Bobo, the ball carrier on that one, and yep, they'll move the sticks once again.
Everything these Montesano kids do is at full speed. Nothing's 3/4 or anything like that. So they're all on the same page. Everyone knows what they're supposed to do and how to do it. So very impressive thus far.
Still working out of that no huddle. I think the defense is starting to get a little gassed for the Mountaineers as the handoff goes to a Bobo right side, breaks a tackle, now crashes head on into Dylan Howard and gets dropped. He picked up several yards on the carry off the right side.
3-yard gain, 2nd and 7.
Gain of 3 as the clock winding down, close to 6.5 minutes to go here, third quarter. Montesano leading it by the score of 21-0. They have the ball inside the 20 of Mount Baker. Throw right side and in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. That was number 25, Richard Smith. Couldn't hold on.
Montesano's tough because when they get up on you, they're able to run the ball like we've seen and use clock, and that's very frustrating for a defense, or excuse me, an offense that wants to get back on the field and get some points on the board. Montesano kind of just, punches and punches and punches and uses that time.
6:24 to go, third quarter. Montesano with one man wide right to either side. Out of the shotgun, Jensen takes the snap, throws left side. He's got Mendenhall for the reception. He's dropped by a couple of defenders, but not before he gets inside the 15-yard line. So that'll pick up about 4 and also bring up a fourth down. And the Bulldogs are going to go for it right here.
This coach Jensen and then his son obviously being the quarterback, being the senior leader, it's obviously another very important special year for them. So, they're going to do everything they can to get this title.
Handoff straight up the middle, and they will definitely have enough for the first down. Should be right at about the 10, maybe a little bit inside. One way or the other, it's another first down for Montesano. And just like clockwork, they keep moving down the field.
First down, Montesano.
Clock starting back up with 5:39 to go. It's first and goal from the 10-yard line of Mount Baker. Montesano checking the sideline to get the right play. And now Jensen will get under center. One man in the backfield, plus a wing back. They send a man in motion. That's Shad Rogers. Here's a turn and a handoff up the middle to the wing back. And that appeared to be Mendenhall. Yep, it was. Didn't get very far, maybe a gain of 3. This game to be followed by a 4A semifinal matchup between Skyline and Camas. And I know, Jordan, you're looking forward to that one.
One of the top games countrywide. I mean, it's going to be amazing. Camas is about as good as they've ever been, and it's got a very, very special junior group.
Pitch to a Babo, gained some yardage down to about the 2-yard line. So
Skyline, a nationally ranked team, and Camas has never had a better team. I've seen them 4 times this year. Extremely impressed with what they bring to the table, and if anybody's got time to get over here for that game, they should definitely do that. It's going to be one for the ages.
Max Brown, the starting quarterback for Skyline, headed to USC. From the 2-yard line, 3rd and goal. Jensen back to pass for the Bulldogs, throws into the end zone, and it's a touchdown. He's got a wide open Shad Rogers for another 6 points as the Bulldogs increase their lead to 27-0. And there were defenders back there, but he just found the right spot, the right spacing.
Yeah, Jensen took a shot there from Dylan Howard, still got the ball off, and once again, that's just him being that senior guy, knowing where his guys are at, and doing a good job completing that pass.
On for the extra point now, Luthen.
Holding for the extra point, Matthew Jensen.
Made all 3 extra points, missed a field goal attempt. And let's see what happens here as they try to make it a 28-0 ball game. Snap from center, spot down, and the kick is up and good. And Montesano indeed leads it by the score of 28-0 over Mount Baker with 4:13 to go here in the 3rd quarter of play. We'll take a break and back with more 3rd quarter action right after this on the WIAA Network.
The future of our state is very important to Washington dairy farmers.
And it starts with our youth. The dairy farmers of Washington have been partnering with the WIAA for years. Sports are very important in building good work ethic.
They help students by teaching them discipline, teamwork, dedication, and preparing them for the challenges that they're going to have later in life.
The dairy farmers of Washington encourage you to support local youth by attending WIAA championship events.
We are back at the Tacoma Dome, a 28-0 lead for the Montesano Bulldogs over the Mount Baker Mountaineers. And it has been a dominating performance for sure for Montesano, making their fans happy. They've made the trip. Probably about an hour and a half drive from here. I'm Mike Brown along with Jordan Johnson. 4:13 to go in the 3rd quarter of play, and another successful drive for the Bulldogs there, Jordan.
Yeah, 11 plays, 60 yards, just over 7 minutes. Once again, just another time-sustaining drive. The first one was 7 for 48. The second one was 13 for 66. And that last one, like I said, 11 for 60. So Montesano doing the same thing time and time again.
Luthen kicks it off. A deep kick this time. Goes off the fingertips of one man. That is Schwinden. He's going to return it up the middle, and a pretty decent return as it gets to the 20-yard line. So kind of a clinical performance being put on by this Bulldog offense based on the numbers you were just giving me.
Yeah, I mean, they know what they want to do, and they're doing it. There's no secrets. They're just running the ball. They're mixing it up. A pass here and there, and Jensen's showing what a true senior leader can do. He's mixing the ball. Shad Rogers doing a great job. Elliot Mendenhall doing a great job. Obviously, Babu. So great work by Montesano.
Matthew Jensen with 2 touchdown passes. Tucker Ibabo with 2 touchdown runs. Under center, and Andrew Zender, who rolled to his right. Looks for somebody downfield. Can't find anybody. He'll keep it. And a pretty good run as he gets past the 30-yard line and picks up a first down on what appeared to be somewhat of a broken play.
Yeah, Mount Baker's never been in a position like this throughout the year. They got blasted by Linden, but other than that, they've pretty much dominated every opponent, so this is pretty foreign territory to them.
And Linden a 2A school, while Mount Baker is a 1A school. So no real surprise there.
Yeah.
3:40 to go, 3rd quarter. Mount Baker for the first down on their first play of this possession. Let's see what happens here from just beyond the 30-yard line. Zender will turn, hand off, and that'll go to Schleimer rather. And he's going to blast forward, keeps the feet moving, and finally dropped at the 38-yard line. I love running backs that just say, look, if I'm not down, I'm going to keep moving forward. You got to tackle me. I always question that, Jordan. You know, so many defenders hit guys above the waist. And, I mean, I think it's a physics. If you grab somebody around the leg, they can't run. So why don't more guys grab running backs or whoever around the leg?
Seems simple, right?
It does seem simple. Handoff again to Schleimer. He's going to get the first down. And more as he breaks in past midfield and well into Montesano territory. Gets knocked out of bounds at the 39-yard line.
Schleimer's played well. Jay Schleimer's played very well tonight. 5'11", 195, two-way kid, and he runs hard. I mean, he's a talented athlete.
22 yards.
He got exactly what Mount Baker needed there. Another big chunk of yardage as they trail by 4 touchdowns. And that's a lot of ground to make up when you're down to 2:46 to go in the third quarter of play.
That was actually the biggest play of the night, or the day, excuse me, for Mount Baker. 22 yards.
There's Schleimer again off the left side, and he just keeps bowling forward. Boy, this kid is tough as he gets inside the 25-yard line, picks up another 15 yards right there. Man, oh man.
Schleimer's tired of this.
He doesn't want to get shut out, if nothing else.
He's a senior. This is his last game. He's going to go out in style.
Schleimer carrying the load for the most part for the Mountaineers. Lines up directly behind the quarterback. That would be Zender, who hands off to him once again. No, this time the carry is going to go to Schwinden. He works over to the right side down to about the 15. Pickup of about 7. So it'll bring up a 2nd and short. Actually, a pickup of 8. 2nd and 2 for the Mountaineers, putting together another impressive drive. They had just one in the first half, and it ended at the 2-yard line. It actually ended in the end zone on an interception on a 1st and goal.
They will have next year Schwinden back as well as Andrew Zender, the quarterback. So, you know, not counting it in, not sealing the deal right now, but, you know, for next season, those are 2 very talented kids that will be back that they can look forward to having.
Got an official's time out here. Now they're going to start the clock up again with 1:58 to go. Third quarter. 28-0 lead for Montesano over Mount Baker, who has the ball right now. 2nd and 1, they'll hand it off. And Schleimer on the left side got the first down, tries to cut right toward the end zone and slips and falls on the turf. But he does get inside the 5-yard line and sets up the offense pretty well with a 1st and goal.
And Schleimer's pushing 50 yards in those last 3 carries, so he's really gotten in the groove and looking to see if they get them on the board.
Minute 35 to go, third quarter. The Mountaineers knocking on the door for the 2nd time in the game. The first time ended with the interception in the end zone. They got plenty of time to work with here and will probably continue to run the ball. Zender under center. He'll turn and a flag and a whistle right when the ball was snapped. I wonder if the Mountaineers took too much time right there getting that play off. Let's wait and see. Referee Reese Blake indicates offsides on the part of Montesano. So that'll move the ball a little bit closer to the end zone for Mount Baker. So it's at the 2-yard line. 1st and goal from the 2 for the Mountaineers. Trying to bust up the shutout bid by Montesano. Here comes the handoff. It goes to Schleimer, and he's going to easily get into the end zone. Lowers a shoulder into a defender and busts through for the score. And finally, the Mountaineer fans on the far side of the Tacoma Dome have something to cheer about as they bust up the shutout with the touchdown run by Jake Schleimer of 2 yards.
Finally, Schleimer says. He's been doing a great job, though. Jake Schleimer's had a very, very good day so far. So, once again, it's good to see this Mount Baker crowd getting into it, and, you know, the game's not over yet.
Edgar Zavala on for the extra point attempt. It's up, and it is no good. He pushed it to the left side, So the score will be 28-6 in favor of Montesano, and we'll be back with more third quarter action right after this on the WIAA Network.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
Well, the shutout bid has been set to the side on the part of Montesano as Mount Baker finally scores on a 2-yard touchdown run by running back Jake Schleimer. Extra point no good. So 28-6 in favor of Montesano. And Jordan, we've talked about on a couple of occasions how Mount Baker has come from behind in both of their playoff wins leading into this game. Can they overcome a 28-0 deficit? We still got more than a quarter to play, so it's not out of the realm of possibility, is it?
Not out of the realm. That was a 7-play, 80-yard drive. So they moved the ball obviously better than they have all game right there. But once again, they're going to have to mix up some passing here in this last quarter if they want to make up the 3 touchdowns. So we're going to have to see that.
And the defense is going to have to come up big as well. Touchback on the ensuing kickoff, so Montesano will begin at their own 20-yard line. They have been very effective on offense throughout the game. I think they've punted just one time so far.
This is going to be their worst starting position of the day so far for Montesano.
So from the 20, here comes the handoff straight up the middle. Matthew Jensen handing off. And let's see, Babo is the ball carrier, picks up 4 on the play as we move into the final minute of the third quarter.
And this is where Montesano can just kill you because they can use so much clock. They can get 3 or 4 first downs. This quarter would be over, and they can use half the time in the fourth quarter. So this is where Montesano, methodically can really beat you.
Handoff again up the middle. No, Jensen going to hang on to it. He'll squirt around the right side and move forward for a first down. And that's the kind of play right there that just keeps killing a defense pretty much. You think, you hold them maybe 3 or 4 on the first play, and then the quarterback runs it for a first down on the next one.
That's what Jensen brings to the table. A very good runner as well. Smart kid, and one of those guys that you can really rely on.
First down, Montesano.
And I think the Bulldogs can let the clock run out. The play clock is a half a tick ahead of the scoreboard clock. And that's exactly what the Bulldogs are going to do. They're just going to let the clock run out here on the third quarter of play. And it will end with the score, Bulldogs 28, the Mountaineers 6. We'll be back with the fourth quarter right after this timeout on the WIAA Network.
The future of our state is very important to Washington dairy farmers.
And it starts with our youth. The dairy farmers of Washington have been partnering with the WIAA for years. Sports are very important in building good work ethic.
They help students by teaching them discipline, teamwork, dedication, and preparing them for the challenges that they're going to have later in life.
The dairy farmers of Washington encourage you to support local youth by attending WIAA championship events.
Oh, that was funny.
We are back here at the Tacoma Dome, ready for fourth quarter action between Montesano and Mount Baker. A semifinal matchup at the 1A level of the state high school football playoffs. I'm Mike Brown along with Jordan Johnson. Glad you could join us for our webcast here on the WIAA Network. Montesano leads it by the score of 28-6, and they do have the ball here to begin the fourth quarter of play and a first down to boot. So pretty much everything's still going the way of the Bulldogs. So let's see what the Bulldogs do here. They just got a first down on about a 12-yard run by quarterback Matthew Jensen, who's in the shotgun now, takes the snap, fakes the handoff, throws right side under pressure, and he connects with number 4, Shad Rogers. Another hands-only catch by the wide receiver who hits the turf in Mount Baker territory at about the 42-yard line.
You cannot throw a ball better than that right there. He led him, and there was no way that's getting picked. So Matt Jensen and Chad Rogers definitely on the same page. That's one of those things this Montesano team brings to the table.
We'll get you an update on the other semifinal game at the 1A level. It's going on right now, right after this play here, as Jensen is under center. Now backs off a little bit. Going to use a little bit of the clock, which is running right now. Opening minute of the fourth quarter. Back to pass Jensen. Throws over the middle, and I think him and Chad Rogers had a little miscommunication as that one drops to the turf incomplete. Now the winner of this game will move on and play the winner of River Ridge against Royal. They're playing right now, and Jordan, I think you have an update on that game for us.
Yeah, Royal's up 13-0 at the end of one, and once again, that's that number 2 ranked team in the state. So it's playing out as of right now to be a very epic matchup coming up next week.
That would be Royal against Montesano, but Mount Baker isn't thinking that way right now. They want to get a stop here. Here's a pitch to Ababo. He's going to work around the left side, and he's going to move it upfield for a gain of about 6. And he continues to be very, very effective. Tucker Ababo, the fullback. Picks up 5 on the play officially, and a 3rd and 5 is what Montesano is staring at, but they'll stare that down real easy. Probably go for it on 4th if they don't make it.
Yeah, right now it's kind of no options.
Out of the shotgun, Jensen throws left side. He connects with his intended receiver. That's Ben Ohashi, and he's beyond the stick for the first down. He read them patterned perfectly, and it was designed to get that first down and keep the drive alive.
Tackle by Isaiah Schwinden. Montesano, first down.
So the Bulldogs, with a big lead of 28-6, and another fresh set of downs, will go to work here from just inside the 30-yard line. The ball spotted at the 29 of Mount Baker.
First and 10 from the
Mount Baker trying to slow down this Montesano Bulldog team. Handoff straight up the middle. Cloud of dust on that one there as they pick up a couple. Tucker Ababo again with the carry.
Montesano doesn't have a bunch of kids that go both ways, so they have the luxury of having kids that are fresh and using them on one side of the ball. So that's one thing where Montesano can really, really take advantage of their opponents.
That's a very good point there too, Jordan. Back to pass, Jensen throws left side. He's got a man there for completion by the far sideline. And that would be Ohashi once again. It's interesting you say that, but of the guys who do play both ways, Matthew Jensen, the quarterback, is a linebacker on defense for Montesano.
And a good one. Second team all-league linebacker and the conference MVP offensively. So once again, can't say enough good things about Matt Jensen. He was a guy that once again we saw at the camps and combines, and coming with his father being the head coach, grew up in a football family, and has just got that quarterback mindset.
Bulldogs milking the clock as Jensen out of the shotgun will fake the handoff, keep it himself straight up the middle. Someone got a hold of his jersey to slow him down, so he's only going to pick up a yard or so. That's going to bring up a 4th down, 4th and about 4, and I will not be surprised if they just go for it here. Leading 28-6. Montesano is deep into Mount Baker territory. And I think a 4th down conversion right here is, I don't want to say all but shut the door, but it is going to make it extremely hard for Mount Baker.
Time and time again I've seen, and I'm sure you have too, where a coach and a quarterback, a father-son combo, come their senior year. There has been a lot of special teams with that scenario. So once again, this could be another one of those.
Actually, they wind the clock down as far as they can and then call a timeout, the first of the second half for the Montesano Bulldogs. Coming up after this game, the one we told you about already, a 4A semifinal matchup between Skyline and Camas. After that, the 1B matchup between Lummi and Nia Bay. A couple of teams on Native American reservations will be going at it. And then wrapping things up later tonight, a 7 o'clock game between Auburn and Bellarmine Prep. Where did Auburn come from, Jordan? Nobody expected them to be here.
They didn't, but they actually had a really good year overall and kind of just, won a couple big ball games when it counts. And that just goes to show you show up around playoff time and do what you need to do, you can end up in the Dome. So it's that's what makes these playoffs so interesting.
On my way down here, you say the Dome. Kind of funny how you worded that. I was on my way down here for the game this morning, and I came up behind Mount Baker school bus. It was the cheerleaders and some of the students and fans, and they said, "Road to the Dome," just like you said, the Dome.
Yeah, I mean, it's
everybody knows what it is.
Special thing.
Jensen back to pass, heaves it downfield on 4th and 5 into the end zone. Nobody there. He basically just threw it away as nobody was open. The play was well covered by the Mountaineers defense. They do hold, but not before they got pushed downfield quite a way. It used up a lot of time, and it sets up not a great field position situation for their offense, but they do get the ball back, and you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, Montesano, like we talked about, took 4:18 off the clock right there. So, they didn't score, but once again, that's almost just as important.
The tough thing for the Mountaineers coming back is that they don't throw the ball all that well. They rely on their running game, and that uses up time. They'll start from the 21, their own 21. And a handoff as they continue to run the ball. This one coming to Schwinden. He's going to work around the left side and may have gotten enough for the first down. Now he's going to be a couple yards short. A good run nonetheless for Isaiah Schwinden.
Had big Jake Larson out there, lead blocking for him, 5'10", 260, so good work on his end.
The Mountaineers came into the ball game with an overall record of 10-1. Their only loss to 2A school Linden,
who's really good.
Yep, they just won last night. They're going to the title game for the 2A championship. Here's a run left side, and Schleimer picking up some decent yardage, and he's going to get enough for the first down.
Linden beat a very, very good Capital team. Capital beat, 4A Bothell. So, they kind of put that into perspective and how talented of a team, they are. So, very, very interesting, this 2A Linden team.
And they made it look easy last night. I was here. I watched that game, and Capital just didn't seem to have much life. I don't know what was going on. Kai Van Sickle, their running back, is a very good player, and they kept him under wraps.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Fresh set of downs for the Mountaineers. They'll run it right side, but I think there was some movement before the snap, and we have a flag. So they'll rule that play dead, and I think the Mountaineers are going to get backed up here.
Speaking of Capital, they actually beat 3 4A teams, including Bothell. So, just to kind of...
I know they beat Newport, I believe, to start the season.
And then Bothell, and then Olympia.
Yep, Olympia in the Spaghetti Bowl.
Yeah, there you go.
That penalty was actually against Montesano, so it sets up a 1st and 5 situation for the Mountaineers. Zender under center. He'll hand off to Schleimer, running off left tackle, and meets a wall of maroon jerseys belonging to Montesano. Probably picked up about 3.
That's the problem being a run-oriented team. If you do get down, however that happens, it's just extremely tough to come back. You just can't pick up and start passing. So that's a huge advantage here. 2nd
and a long 2. Zender will hand off to Schleimer. Runs right into a defender and pushes him forward far enough to get the first down. So the drive stays alive for the Mountaineers as they get near midfield with 6:49 to go in the ballgame. Montesano leading it 28-6. The Mountaineers did score their only points on their last possession, but staring at a long field to start this drive right here. At their own 48 now with a fresh set of downs. Zender leads them up to the line of scrimmage. He'll hand off left tackle. And Isaiah Schwinden going to be met right near the line of scrimmage. A short game, maybe 1. They'll give him a yard on that play, 2nd and 9.
Mount Baker's only been across the 50 twice, and they're pressing here for their 3rd. So obviously that's very necessary being where it's at right now.
Snap from center, handoff to the 2nd man through. That's Schwinden. He'll work right side. Another short gain. Got about 2, maybe 3. That'll bring up a 3rd and long. And certainly 4-down territory for Mount Baker. If they don't convert here, they just simply have to go for it.
3rd down, 5.
Yeah, Ron Lepper, head coach Ron Lepper in his 17th season. First time in the Dome. It's got to be very exciting, regardless. So.
Sure. And it wasn't like they've been shooting themselves in the foot a lot with penalties and turnovers and that type of thing, as Schleimer will carry the ball plenty for the first down and keeps pushing forward. Boy, he's having a very good game despite the Mountaineers being down by a bunch. And he's going to get not only the first down but an extra 8 or 9 yards. Certainly the Mountaineers have turned the ball over twice, but the first one wasn't until the next to last play of the first half. And then they had a fumble here in the second half. And the penalties haven't really killed them. It's really just been more a matter of execution or the lack thereof.
Yeah, I think, give a lot of credit to Montesano. They've done an outstanding job executing and sticking with their game plan.
Set up a bubble screen on the left side. That'll be gathered in by Dylan Howard. He'll push forward for a healthy gain of about 6-7 yards. I
do agree with you on Schleimer. Schleimer's been all over the place. I don't know the exact stat line, but he's got to be at a buck 30, buck 40 rushing right now, and he's a beast.
He's had probably 10 carries of 8+ yards. At the 25, 2nd and 3, they hand it off. Schleimer gets tripped up and falls down behind the line of scrimmage, so they're going to lose at least one on that one right there. 4:26 to go in the ball game. Montesano with a healthy 28-6 lead over Mount Baker, and in position to move on to the title game against either Riverview or Royal. And still a ways to go here. Mountaineers trying to keep moving forward. As Zender will hand off. No, he fakes the handoff, looks right the pass, throws now. He's got a man and completes it to big number 89. That would be Dalton Munsell. And he shakes off a defender long enough to get a first down. So good yards after the catch right there.
Yeah, Munsell 6'2", 180, the senior, two-way starter. Good-looking kid.
So move the sticks once again for the Mountaineers, who continue to put the effort out here despite being down by a lot, and that's a good sign right there. The kids continue to play.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the rest of your season, and for a lot of these seniors, this is going to be it.
Now whistles blow just before the snap. Got another flag, and a little bit too much, illegal procedure being called against the Mountaineers. Tell you, Mount Baker located in a very beautiful part of the state. Man, it is really nice up there. Cascades, up in northern Cascades.
Very impressed with the crowd they brought out here today. I mean, I think, especially for a school that's first time to the Tacoma Dome, this is what you're hoping to see. So kudos to them.
And they all had to get up pretty early, too, to get down here for this 10 a.m. game.
3-hour drive, actually, from Mount Baker.
Back to pass. Zender looking downfield, dodges a couple of defenders. Now he takes off and runs. He's going to get past the line of scrimmage. In fact, he's going to go all the way past the first down spot and pick up a fresh set of downs for the Mountaineers. They were looking at a 3rd and 14 right there, and Zender got the job done.
They can get this on the board right now. Anything's possible. So great job by Zender.
Clock winding down to 3 minutes left in the game. The Mountaineers would like to get one more touchdown on the board for sure. I got a new breath of life right there as Zender picks up 19 yards on the play. The ball at the 6-yard line, 1st and goal. Straight ahead they go, and it's Schleimer left side. He's going to get hit, but not before he picks up a couple of yards. Took a pretty wicked shot right there. But he's got him a little bit closer to the goal line. 2.5 minutes ago now.
Yeah, they'll eventually here have to just start airing it out just for clock purposes. I mean, it's really you're getting down to crunch time.
The ball at the 3-yard line. 2nd and 3. The Mountaineers in no hurry to stop the clock. I think they're mostly focused on just getting another touchdown before this whole thing's over. They'll send a man wide to either side, 2 backs in the backfield. Zender will hand it off, but not flags again. In fact, 3 of them go flying. And going to be another illegal motion call against the Mountaineers. First of 4 games here. It's all semifinal games being played at the Tacoma Dome. 2 at the 4A level, the first of which is right after this game. And we've talked about it already. Jordan's licking his chops as Skyline will take on Camas.
Just that Camas, I've never seen a junior class as dominant as Camas has. And then obviously Skyline with the #1 quarterback in the country and Max Brown, a guy that Taylor Barton's trained since he was a kid. It's going to be very, very interesting because Max is one of those special guys, obviously headed to USC, that's just a game changer by himself. And he's got a bunch of very talented kids with him. But it's just going to be very interesting to see how they handle Splendorio and Barney and Matt Sinatro and those other wide receivers that they got. So very excited to see that game.
Timeout here, and this one being called by Mount Baker. Is Matt Barkley of USC a junior this year?
No.
He's a senior.
Yeah.
Does Max Brown have a chance at starting next year?
Yes,
he
absolutely.
Does.
Absolutely.
He's that good.
Yeah. So will be very. It'll be very interesting to see what happens with Max too. I mean, there's a lot of things going on down there with USC losing the way they are, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. And Max is going to go down there and definitely have a chance to get in there and play right away. Cody Kessler will be the guy that he's battling for that QB spot down there.
2:05 to go. The ball is at the 8-yard line. 2nd and goal for Mount Baker. Zender turns, hands off to Schleimer. He's going to be met just at the line of scrimmage. He will manage to push forward for a yard or two, and that's about it. So now the battle is all about whether or not the Mountaineers score this on this, what will probably be their final drive of the game. Montesano trying to keep him out of the end zone. They lost the shutout on the Mountaineers' previous possession. Now Zender under center. Hands off, Schleimer right side. He gets tripped up on a nice tackle by Mendenhall, and that's going to bring up a 4th down, and you got to go for it all right here, right,
Yeah,
Jordan?
I mean, I understand they're a running team, but you really need to get the ball in the end zone now.
Well, this will be the final play offensively for Mount Baker, at least on this drive, barring a defensive penalty. It's 4th and goal at the 6-yard line. The Mountaineers just trying to put one more score up before this game is over. Zender under center, turns, he's going to run, he's going to keep it, he's going to go around the right side, and he's going to be tackled. Well short of the goal line as he's met at the 4-yard line and dropped, and the Mountaineers will not get that 2nd touchdown, and Montesano can now officially start thinking about heading on to the state title for the 1A championship.
Yeah, great job by them. Great community support. We see all the fans out here going crazy, and just can't say enough good things about what they've done as a program.
Just 50 seconds remain in the ball game. Montesano can take a knee, not too far behind the line of scrimmage because they're at the 4-yard line, and the Mountaineers could use their final 2 timeouts to potentially get the ball back. But I think Montesano's probably just going to run a play. They've been doing it all game long and doing it successfully as well, building a 28-0 lead before the Mountaineers finally got on the scoreboard here in the 4th quarter.
I think they're pretty excited to get back to this title game after that crazy 3 overtime thriller last year. They're probably chomping at the bit. They had to be hard to think about for that whole offseason,
The Bulldogs, as good as they are and have been historically, have not won a title since 1994. Now, they have 2 to their credit. They've come close on a lot of occasions, but have not gotten that title, at least for head coach Terry Jensen, who's been on the job for 11 years now and has cranked out some pretty good teams.
Which makes it even more special. His son being a senior, it's 18 years since they've got a state title, all the community support that they've had. So once again, I think Montesano, if there's a team of destiny with the fire that we talked about, with all of that other stuff, it's definitely, it could be their year.
The title game will be played 1 week from today, 10 o'clock in the morning, right here at the Tacoma Dome. Looks like Montesano is going to be taking on the winner of Royal and Riverview, which is going on right now. We had an earlier update that Royal was leading 13-0 after 1 quarter. Montesano ready to get back to work, and Jensen will take a knee and just get the clock running down to the all zeros. Mount Baker will not call a timeout. They do have 2 left, and they're willing to just let the clock run out here and call it a season. 28-6, the Bulldogs lead it. One more snap of the ball will do it. And they will start preparations for playing in the title game 1 week from today. Matthew Jensen done a great job under center all game long. We'll take one more snap here. He's letting the play clock run down to 3, now 2, now 1, and they're just going to let it run out and take the penalty, apparently. Now they call the timeout. Montesano using up their final timeout. Just letting the clock run down to 6 seconds remaining. Well, Jordan, the way Montesano's played, you think they got to have a heck of a shot a week from today.
Yeah, you know, the confidence factor is big. Being in these big games through multiple years goes a long way. So I think Coach Jensen and his guys really believe and they see themselves winning this title. I don't think they see it anywhere else. So, you know, Royal's going to be obviously a tough opponent if that's who it ends up being. But regardless, Montesano's going to be a tough team to beat.
And it would come during a season in which their stadium was burned to the ground and rendered essentially useless. Here's a snap from center. Jensen will take the knee. The clock will run out to all zeros. And the Montesano Bulldogs will continue their season, and it'll end in the title game 1 week from today as they take on either Royal or Riverview. And that's all because they have beaten Mount Baker by the final score of 28-6 here in the semifinals.
That one quick update is that Royals up 13-7 on Riverview with 7:52 in the second. So that is a ball game, and we'll have to wait and see who wins that to see who plays Montesano next week for the title.
Well, one thing's for sure, and that is the Bulldogs will play for the state championship at the 1A level as they line up to shake hands and do the sportsmanlike thing with Mount Baker, a team that had a great season and got farther than they've ever gotten in their history, that being the semifinal round, and played for the first time in the Tacoma Dome. Unfortunately, they came up well short of advancing to the title game as the Bulldogs dominated this game and won it by the final score of 28-6. Jordan, any final thoughts?
Just both communities showed great support tonight getting out here. Montesano's going to be extremely tough to beat in the title game, and congratulations to Mount Baker on their first trip to the Tacoma Dome. They are definitely deserving.
So that'll wrap it up for our webcast here. The final score again, Montesano 28, Mount Baker 6. The Bulldogs will advance to the state title game 1 week from today, a 10 o'clock kickoff for the 1A title right here at the Tacoma Dome. A big thanks to all of you for listening in and watching in on our webcast as well. Thanks to our crew and, of course, my color commentator, Jordan Johnson. I'm Mike Brown saying thanks so much for watching. Again, the final 28-6 Montesano over Mount Baker right here on the WIAA network. So long for now.
The future of our state is very important to Washington dairy farmers.
And it starts with our youth. The dairy farmers of Washington have been partnering with the WIAA for years. Sports are very important in building good work ethic.
They help students by teaching them discipline, teamwork, dedication, and preparing them for the challenges that they're going to have later in life.
The dairy farmers of Washington encourage you to support local youth by attending WIAA championship events.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.